Hey kids, remember the 80s? Ah, yes, the 80s. Back when men were men, women had big hair, and communism was an evil force dedicated to the destruction of Western civilization. Those were simpler times. Well, okay, not really, but a lot of action movies from back then like to pretend that they were, with square-jawed American heroes battling evil communist villains in an ideological struggle for the fate of the world.
It's time.
But the thing is, ever since the fall of the Soviet Union, America doesn't have a go-to bad guy for movies anymore. Instead, we gotta rely on nebulous forces like terrorists and hackers. And where's the fun in that? Back in the day, communism was responsible for all the evil in the world. Today, communism is responsible for all the inventory in Walmart. Sad, really. But fortunately for us, the 80s gave us a treasure trove of movies about Americans fighting Ruskies. Movies like Red Dawn, Red Heat, The Hunt for Red October, and Red Shoe Diaries. Actually, that last one might not be right. But one that definitely is right is the movie we're going to talk about today, Red Scorpion. Yeah, this movie isn't super well known, even to people who are fans of these types of movies, but I gotta admit, it definitely has a more interesting production history than most 80s action movies. For starters, it was written and produced by Jack Abramoff. Yeah, that's right, that Jack Abramoff, the infamous political lobbyist who ended up going to jail for corruption. Not only that, but apparently the movie was partially funded by a right-wing organization with ties to the apartheid government in South Africa. Wow. You sure Nambla wasn't involved in this movie in some way, too? But despite the shady credentials, I'm not too worried about it. After all, it's got Dolph Lundgren in it. How bad could it be? So let's get ready to kick some commie ass with Red Scorpion. So the movie begins the way any good action movie should, with a slideshow.
Nikolai Petrovich Radchenko.
Excuse me, I believe it's pronounced Ivan Drago. This is our protagonist, Soviet Special Forces or Spetsnaz operative Nikolai Radchenko, played by everyone's favorite Russian actor who's actually Swedish, Dolph Lundgren.
Chai, coffee, kvass.
No, thank you.
Yes, Nikolai's a man of few words, and even fewer facial expressions. Nikolai's a little late for his briefing, although judging by his haircut, I think that's because he was up late practicing with his Soviet New Wave band.
In 1978, Soviet army comes to the aid of the Marxist element in Mombaka, known as the Soldat Rouge.
Jeez, would have thought the Soviet version of Drunk History would be a little more entertaining than this. Wait, what African country did they say they were in again?
Element in Mombaka.
Mombaka, huh? Well, why don't I just go ahead and look up where that is? Okay, let's see, Mombaka. Ah, here it is. Mombaka, in between Wakanda and Kijuju. See? Anyway, Nikolai's ordered to eliminate an African rebel leader named Ango Sandata.
A ruthless butcher of men, women, and children.
According to this movie's producers, he's almost as bad as that Nelson Mandela fellow causing so much trouble in South Africa. In order to get Sandata, Nikolai's ordered to get close to one of Sandata's subordinates, Kalunda Kintash, who's being held at a base staffed by Cuban and Czechoslovakian troops. Gotta admit, though, I have my doubts about the way the Cubans are running things. Hey, congratulations. You just wrecked our wall, asshole. Little Richard? Well, looks like the boys from Predator got a little lost on their way to Central America. Well, it's time for Nikolai to get to work, which in his case means getting drunk. Alright, who said I was miscast in The Punisher?
So move, check bastard.
It may look like he's causing trouble for no reason, but he's actually just mad that the bar's all out of Alri Cola. You do realize that your orders were to get Sandata, not act like a fucking asshole, right? Well, looks like it's up to Brian James to set him straight. Brian James, you know, Blade Runner, Fifth Element. Nobody? Whatever, I know who he is.
Are you out of your mind?
No. Just out of bullets.
It turns out this was all part of Nikolai's plan, though, as he's put in the same cell as Kalunda Kintash. So, wait, does this mean the other guys at the base are in on Nikolai's plan? If they are, why would he even need to cause trouble? They could just say he's in there for disorderly conduct, and Kintash wouldn't know any different. And if they're not in on it, what would he have done if they put him in a different cell? Would he just keep beating people up and causing trouble until he eventually got in the right one? Something tells me Nikolai didn't really think this plan through. Pretty soon they're joined by an American journalist played by M. Emmett Walsh, who's one of the quintessential that guy actors. You know, he's that guy from that one movie where he played the one guy who did the thing. You know what I'm talking about. Although, I have a feeling he doesn't like communists.
What the hell is this?
We're sharing a cell with a goddamn Russian? Jesus, man. What the hell's a piece of shit like this doing in here?
Just stay on your side of the cage, man.
America, fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America!
Uh-oh, Brian James is coming in. Looks like we got ourselves a character actor face-off.
The American propagandist is a very tough little man.
Fuck you.
Fuck you too.
Is this guy supposed to be Russian or Canadian?
Fuck you too.
He'd eat cigar, you hoser. Nikolai helps him escape, and later that night, that morning, that afternoon, they manage to escape on a truck. No, that's not how you do a one-liner, Dolph. Here, try it like this.
Get out.
Pretty soon the communists give chase, and they use all the latest high-tech weaponry, like an RPG that can fire even when there clearly isn't a rocket loaded.
Top of this shit!
Yeah, baby. America, fuck yeah! Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah, America!
Whoa, okay, I guess the other guys at the base must not have been in on it. Either that or they're really committed to this plan of Nikolai's. Look at this, he's killing dozens of men and destroying millions of dollars worth of equipment here. Are his superiors really okay with this as long as he gets rid of Sundata? Because it seems to me like there must be an easier way to do that. Jesus, no wonder the Soviet Union lost the Cold War. Eventually, though, they run into a little snag.
Oh shit.
They'll be here soon.
Hey, relax, fellas. It's nothing destroying more of your own equipment won't fix.
Ребята, глянь, как хорошо, а? В следующий раз увидимся, я больше не могу. Автоматик бьет. Я больше не могу.
If you choose, you may travel with us as far as Porto Silva.
Are you fucking mine? He's a Russian.
He's also responsible for our lives.
That doesn't mean shit. Wouldn't trust it as far as I can piss.
Really? The guy just annihilated an entire division of his own men and you still don't trust him? What does he need to do? Break into Lenin's tomb and start teabagging the corpse? Nah, never mind that. I'll let you boys bond over campfire.
When we arrive at Porto Silva, there will be a celebration and much feasting.
What did he say there?
And much feasting.
Listen, I like a party as much as the next guy, but I just met you guys, okay?
Fucking A.
Do the Americans all swear so much as you do?
As a matter of fact, in America, an American can swear whenever, wherever, however much he or she fucking well pleases. A little something we call freedom of speech.
America, fuck yeah!
Hey, calm down, fellas. Maybe a dip in the water will cool those tempers.
Hey, take it off! Take it all off!
Jeez. Well, that's Dolph Lundgren for you. Dude can't even take his pants off without something exploding. Looks like if Nikolai wants to be successful in his mission, he's gonna need to kill a lot more of his own men. Hi, Kiba.
Squeeze that trigger once more, senor, and we kill him!
Oh, you guys, I was this close to getting to Sundata. All I needed to do was to kill 40, maybe 50 more, you guys tops. But it turns out he doesn't need to, as they're saved by Sundata's band of rebels. What the hell? Did that explosion just roar like a lion? Alright, well I'm game. Let's add some other sounds over explosions. Hey, this is fun. They eventually make it to Sundata's village, but he doesn't trust Nikolai and has him locked up. Well, hey, don't feel bad. I mean, maybe your superiors will understand if you don't get Sandata. Actually, probably not. Looks like you'll have to rely on your intense special forces training to get you out of this one, Nikolai.
God!
What is it?
Do you have a band-aid?
I appear to have gotten a boo-boo.
Band-aid. In the middle of the goddamn night.
Psych. Nikolai makes his way to kill Sandata, but there's a bit of a snag. Okay, I know how this looks.
I'm afraid I am not as trusting as Kalunda.
He tells me you didn't even teabag Lenin's corpse. Well, the general doesn't seem too pleased with Nikolai's failure, although personally I think he's just angry that he looks like a bloated version of Henry Gibson.
I'm a soldier, General. I tried everything possible.
I killed as many of our own troops as I could, I swear. Well, you know the penalty for failure, Nikolai. You get tortured by a Cuban. You know, I gotta admit, that's actually a really good effect. Although personally, I could have gone without seeing this guy's cum face. Ugh. But eventually, Nikolai remembers he's a super soldier and decides to escape. Nikolai, smash, puny Cuban! After escaping the base, Nikolai makes good use of his incredible skills as a special forces soldier and wanders aimlessly in the desert before getting stung by a bunch of scorpions. Man, just look at this guy. He's been trained into a fine-tuned engine of destruction that can survive in any environment. Fortunately, Nikolai's found by a friendly bushman who nurses him back to health and accepts him into his tribe, the initiation of which apparently involves him drinking scorpion venom. Yeah, you know the thing that almost killed you? Well, you need to take more of it in order to be one of us. You've heard of the term hair of the dog that bit you? Well, it's kind of like that, except you're drinking poison. Come on, brah. All the cool bushmen are doing it. Oh, and he also gets a bitchin' scorpion tattoo. Hey, I get it now. Red Scorpion. Because he's from a communist country and now he's got a scorpion tattoo. Oh man, I knew that title was going to make sense eventually. While all this is going on, Nikolai's superiors finally figure out a way to get rid of Sandata. By shooting him. Kinda seems like they should have came to that conclusion earlier.
It's him!
Checkmate, you rebel bastard!
Oh man, that was way easier than getting some guy to blow up a bunch of our own stuff in order to try and gain Sandata's trust. I don't know why we didn't just do this in the first place. Also, did the general just turn British for a second there?
Checkmate, you rebel bastard!
Pip pip cheerio, jolly good. Now back to the base for a vodka martini, shaken not stirred. Home, Ivan. Nikolai makes his way to the destroyed village, and it finally dawns on him that maybe, just maybe, his superiors are really a bunch of bad little boys making a big messy poo. Oh my god, I had no idea killing people was wrong. At last I see the light. Thank you, little bushman.
Unfucking believable. Man, either we got us the gutsiest goddamn son of a bitch I ever met, maybe just plain the dumbest.
Look, Nikolai, it's great you changed your ways, but you gotta be crazy to think that they're gonna trust you after you tried to kill Sandata. Okay, maybe not.
I know why you fight.
You guys out of your minds? I mean, how can you listen to this guy?
You know, that's actually a really good question. Sandata didn't trust Nikolai before, and that was after he helped Kintash escape and gun down dozens of communist soldiers. Why the hell should he trust him now?
I've come a long way.
Alright, good enough for me. We trust you now. After Sandata dies, Nikolai finally realizes what he must do.
Let's kick some ass.
Well, that's all well and good, but how are you gonna do it? You got a ragtag band of rebels going up against a heavily armed military base. We just saw that they were criminally outgunned earlier. You're gonna need a really good plan if you want to take that base. Whoa, okay, never mind. I guess you can just walk in and start shooting. I didn't cut anything out there. He just says,
let's kick some ass.
And then the next shot is literally the base getting attacked. I guess the only thing standing in the way of victory for the rebels was one disgruntled Soviet soldier. Okay, here's one issue I have with this final fight scene. Throughout the movie, it looks like Brian James's character is being set up as a major bad guy. The way he antagonizes Nikolai at the beginning of the movie, you would expect there to be a climactic fight scene between the two of them where Nikolai gets some payback, right? Nope! That's because partway through the movie, Brian James's character just disappears. There's one little scene where he gets chewed out by the Cuban leader, and then that's it. He's just not in the movie anymore. Now you listen to me, movie. And you listen good. You do not tease a Dolph Lundgren Brian James fight scene and then not deliver on it, movie! Instead, all we get is a final confrontation with the bald Cuban guy.
I give you fair warning, comrade advisor. I am well armed.
Not for long. Well, looks like Nikolai's really dedicated to Cuban disarmament. Sorry. Alright, I guess there's still the general to take care of. Also, you could try shooting him. I mean, you are in a heavily armed helicopter after all. Or don't.
You lied to me, General.
You never said anything about killing people that weren't on our side.
Nikolai, you were Spetsnaz. I am Spetsnaz. But I'm no longer one of you.
Well, I think we're pretty much done here. I'll just go ahead and turn my back on you now. Can't really see you doing anything at this point. Okay, apparently the general had gasoline and ammunition for breakfast that morning. Well, congratulations, Nikolai. You're now free to do what you've always wanted to do. Star as a preacher in Johnny Mnemonic.
We made it, my friend.
You did it, man. You did it.
Fucking A.
America, fuck yeah! So lick my butt and suck on my balls, America!
So that's Red Scorpion. And how does this 80s Cold War relic stand the test of time? Well, you'll be happy to know that it's okay. I mean, yeah, it's kind of jingoistic and dated, but no more so than a lot of other action movies from that time. It's just kind of a standard 80s action movie. So if you're into 80s action films or a fan of Dolph Lundgren, you'll probably enjoy it. If you're not, though, my guess is you'll probably find it to be a little slow in places and a bit dated. But if nothing else, this movie exists as a reminder of a simpler time when everyone knew that America was good and communism was bad. And that is worth something all its own. Well, that's all for now. Until next time.
All around the world, rock and roll is the only place. All around the world, rock and roll is the only place. You can hear those jukebox jumping all night and all through the day.
Shit! Shit, piss. Shit!
Noisy little fuck.